I just got back from the movie. It was sick! He was like, and then he was like, and then he was like. What's going on, my fellow oxygen huffers? My name's Josiah, and this is Under the Spotlight. The Incredible Hulk released in July and October of 1994. The release date depended on which system you were going to get the game for. July being for the Mega Drive, Game Gear, and Master System, and October for the Super Nintendo. In the summer of '92, British game publisher US Gold approached writers of Mean Machines Richard Ledbetter and Julian Rignall to come up with a scenario for a Hulk-based video game.
G'day, mate.
The two initially proposed something fairly different than what became the final product, suggesting the game be heavily focused on, quote, trashing tanks, doing mile-long jumps, and generally indulging in all-out warfare. I'm listening.
For disappointment.
Marvel objected to this given the proposal focused heavily on visual brutality and the killing of humanoid creatures, which is what inspired the robotic enemies that the game ended up using in the end and likely influenced the toned-down combat system used in the final product.
It's a scam. It's a scam. And I refuse to be scammed.
While what was released in the end still can be appreciated, is it worth playing? Is it worth collecting? This isn't what you would expect for an Incredible Hulk video game. That being said, it doesn't really feel like a good representation of the Hulk at all, in my opinion. While it is cool that you do have the unique mechanic where you have to utilize playing Bruce Banner to progress through certain levels where the Hulk can't, the end product feels incredibly rushed and almost haphazardly put together, I'm gonna be honest. It's a fairly standard action, adventure, platformer, slight beat-em-up stealth game. I know that sounds weird to say all of those things, but there are elements in this game from each of those genres. That being said, the Incredible Hulk can't really make up its mind what it wants to be. I do think that is in part due to Marvel declining what was initially proposed. Basically, you run around a little bit as the Hulk, you fight a few enemies here and there, but for the most part, you're just running and jumping through a level just like any other platformer. Nothing about this really feels that special.
Shame.
While it is cool, you utilize the mechanic of switching between the Hulk and Bruce Banner and another form of the Hulk. In my opinion, it doesn't do the game justice because it mostly impedes the experience of the game. As soon as you start to enjoy fighting some enemies as the Hulk, all of a sudden, you're transforming back into Bruce Banner and now you're stuck with nothing to do. You can attack as Bruce, you can sometimes find guns around the level with only 2 bullets in them.
I too.
Other than that, you just have to run or hide, or in some instances, do nothing. If you lose enough health and transform into Bruce Banner during a boss fight, well, sucks to suck, buddy. There's nothing you can really do except die and try again. And I think that's a big problem with The Incredible Hulk. It really does feel like what was initially proposed for the game is what should have been made, or at least something closer to that original idea. Your punches don't really do that much damage. You aren't as tanky as you would expect for the Hulk. You have a weirdly small attack pool, and you can easily get locked into crowd control if you make one small error during combat. When you're Bruce Banner, you can't do at all. I honestly think The Incredible Hulk would have done better if it committed a bit more to the beat-em-up genre. Faster paced, more chaotic gameplay would have done a tremendous amount for The Incredible Hulk.
Period.
And in my opinion, would have better represented the terrifying behemoth that the Hulk is realistically supposed to be. It is clear that there is an audience for The Incredible Hulk, but I don't think it's the one that the game was trying to approach. Maybe I'll revisit the game in the future and I'll be able to appreciate it in some way, but as it stands, it's not what I expected when I picked the game up and thought, an Incredible Hulk game for the SNES? This could be fun.
Boy, was I wrong.
It is an incredibly underwhelming, underperforming, fairly boring experience. If a mild-mannered, toned-down action platformer is your cup of hot dog water, go for it. experience this game in one way or another. Unless you simply want to collect every single game released for the Super Nintendo, there's no reason to collect a physical copy. Even as a Hulk fan, the game only serves as a reminder at how unlucky the Hulk seems to be when he's being represented outside of comics. Yeah, go with that. The positive thing is this game isn't too pricey, so if you do happen to pick it up thinking that it might be worthwhile, you're not going to be kicking dirt because you bought it. But I do recommend trying it before you buy it. But in all honesty, this isn't that bad of a price, so as long as you're sure that it'll go appreciated, yeah, buy a copy. Otherwise, I think this is one you can confidently pass on.